Hello everyone and welcome back to a new video, and the first video I'm actually filming in 2026, though I have a few videos, like 4 videos I think, already scheduled that I filmed in 2025. We have had ridiculous amounts of snow in the last couple of days and it's still going outside, so I'm wearing my Lucignac dungarees to still signal spring, even though it's only January 3rd when I'm filming this and it's definitely gonna keep being winter for a while to come. Even so, today I'm here to talk to you about my 75 hardstyle challenge that I wrapped up on New Year's Eve. I want to share with you how many times I got dressed, what was difficult, if anything, with the challenge, how I feel about doing it again, all that good stuff, so let's just jump into it. So what I would call the biggest goal of this challenge is to get dressed for 75 days straight. And I know I said that this was a thing that I thought I'd probably struggle a bit with, because if I have vacation or a weekend when I'm not doing things, or a single day of a weekend when I'm not doing anything, I really like staying in loungewear or pajamas and wearing my dressing gown on top of that and just snuggling up and just being a little burrito. That's something I really like doing. But I wanted to commit to trying to get dressed for 75 days straight, and I'm here to report that I got dressed for 71, which I still think is really, really good. According to my wearing, there are 5 days when I didn't get dressed, but I know that I actually did get dressed on Friday the 28th of November, which is an empty day in my wearing, because we had a Christmas lunch thing going on and I wore my Christmas vest, but I don't know what else I wore. I don't remember what bottom and what shirt, probably a button down, I paired it with, so I can't track that after the fact. I could track just the vest, I suppose, but I don't remember what I wore it with. The other 4 days was a Sunday in November, which I already mentioned in the halfway point video. It was a Saturday in November. And then there were 2 days in December, around Christmas, when I had caught a stomach bug or food poisoning or something like that, and I was not thriving. All in all, I was ill for like a week, and most of those days I did actually put something on just to wear something, but 2 of the days I just stayed in PJs, and I think that's entirely fair. I was lucky enough to not catch a cold or the flu or COVID or anything during this period, because if I had, I definitely would not have been getting dressed for those days. But yes, 71 days out of 75 is still really good, and I'm still really happy with that. And I did track all of my outfits, apart from the one with the Christmas vest, on my wearing, and tracking your outfits or documenting your outfits is also part of the challenge, so I will say that I did that. Another goal was to not buy anything new, and I choose to include secondhand in that as well, like to not introduce anything new into my wardrobe at all, and I did succeed with that. I do believe that these green linen trousers that I ordered off of Vinted earlier in October, I do think they arrived on the 18th, and my challenge started on the 18th, but that was beyond my control. I didn't know that the shipping would take that long, and I still think it's fair. I didn't buy them during the challenge, so that is okay in my eyes. Now, when I made my startup video for this challenge, I said that I have 1 pair of winter shoes with a wonky zipper, and if that breaks, I'm going to have to replace the shoes or change out the zipper depending on what can be done. But I wasn't going to go out and buy a new pair of shoes if I didn't have to. And the zipper did indeed break, which is a little bit annoying, but it was also bound to happen. It was wonky at least at the beginning of 2025, like last winter season, but I think it was maybe even wonky the year before. So it's been wonky for a while, and I've kind of just been waiting for it to eventually break, and maybe I could have gone to get them fixed before it broke, but I did not do that. But the zipper ended up breaking at work, which was very annoying, on the 9th of December, and I handed them into a cobbler on the 12th, and then the following day on the 13th, I got a text message that they were done. And I then picked them up the following Monday, which was the 15th. And it was such a good repair. Like, it looks really good, it works really well. The first time I put the shoe on, even though the cobbler had shown me like, oh look, it zips so well, and I was like, yes, look, it zips so well, great, here's your payment. The first time I actually put the shoe on and I just pulled on the zipper, and I was like, whoa, because I wasn't prepared, because I'm so used to it sticking like that far up and then having to wiggle it and then manage and zip it all the way up. But I'm so glad I got them fixed. The other zipper is still not wonky in any way, so I'm hoping that that one will last for quite a while longer. but I ended up paying 350 Swedish krona to get the zipper changed, and that is so much cheaper than I would have had to pay for a new pair of shoes. So I'm very, very happy with that. You are also supposed to set your own style goals or challenges or intentions for this challenge for these 75 days. And the two biggest ones for me was to play around with my wardrobe and to stop mindlessly scrolling on apps like Vinted. And I don't really know that I've played all that much with my wardrobe. I did do the outfit formulas video during this period, but I didn't wear those outfits as actual outfits. But I mean, that's fair to just play with your wardrobe, just see outfits, just, you know, put things together and see if it works and not actually having to wear them. So I think that's fair. I do also have an upcoming video, which is finally done, and it's like an hour and 18 minutes long, of me tier ranking all of the thrifted items I got in 2025. So stay tuned for that. But in that video, when I was actually pulling my different little images of my clothes around and ranking them in a system, it was actually really fun to see pieces come together, like pieces I hadn't necessarily thought to pair. Seeing them side by side or in the vicinity of one another was actually really eye-opening for me. There were several outfits, or several combinations at least, maybe not full outfits, that I saw and I was like, oh, this is something I could really wear. I did film that tier ranking in 2025, so I guess I could count that as playing around with my wardrobe, but I think I was more intending to physically play in my wardrobe, and I haven't done that. As for the mindless scrolling, I do think I have maybe done it a little bit less, but I have still done it. But my mindset behind it has been very different, because I've opened the app out of boredom, which I'm not saying I never opened it out of boredom before, but I've opened the app and I've scrolled for a bit and just known at the back of my mind that I'm not getting anything. And there were a couple pieces at the beginning of the challenge that I found. For example, there was a tiered pink, like a hot pink tiered skirt that was really cool. And I have favorited that, and I've favorited other things throughout the challenge as well. But I knew I wasn't going to get them, or I knew I wasn't going to get them at least until now in January. And I can't think of anything right now that I have favorited that I want to go back and get. I think my mindset has shifted a bit, and it's just been like window shopping or just browsing and not with the intention to get anything. And I think that's good. I would still like to, instead of picking up my phone and scrolling on Vinted when I'm bored, doing something else, like knitting or reading or creating, which I guess knitting is creating, or something else, and not defaulting to scrolling on my phone. But I do think I've done it slightly less, and my mindset around it has shifted. And now that we're in a new year and I'm not on a no-buy, I am allowed to start purchasing clothes again. But I've also had some thoughts in regards to the amount of thrifting I did last year, and how much money and how much time and how many items that was, and I don't want to keep that up for 2026. I do still think that I will be thrifting. I do really enjoy thrifting, but not to the amount that I did last year, both from a financial standpoint, but also the number of items I just included into my wardrobe and then had to wear, because I was also doing the wear everything challenge, and I am doing that again. And I say had to wear because I don't want it to feel like it's a chore. Like, I'm very happy to wear my clothes. I should be very happy. I want to be very happy to wear my clothes. And I don't want it to feel like, oh, I have to wear this piece today, even though I want to wear this piece because this one hasn't gotten worn yet. And there were times that I felt that way in 2025, and I don't want to continue feeling like that. And I also want to really get to wear and pair and use the items that I really enjoy. And I want to really enjoy all of my items, but it is kind of impossible to really enjoy all of your items if you just keep introducing more items. This is a slightly different topic, I am aware, and I have recently done my thrifting stats video, and like I said, there will be a tier ranking video going out soon. And I'm also doing a cost per wear thing this year, which is also going to be an upcoming video. So I have lots more thoughts to share in those videos, but in general, even though I'm now allowed to shop, I think maybe using the apps just as window shopping for a little while was good. I'm not saying that I'll never buy anything off of Vinted again, but Vinted typically also ends up being more expensive than thrifting in person, at least for me. I feel like the items are more expensive, but also shipping is more expensive than getting something in person. And there are so many more risks that things just don't fit the way you want them to. So I want to keep that in mind as well moving forward. And then another goal for the challenge, like an original goal for the challenge, is to clean out and organize your closet. I did do a closet clear out at the beginning of 2025, and so I wasn't intending to do one for the end of the year as well, like during this challenge. However, during these 75 days towards the end of the challenge and towards the end of the year, I wanted to set up my system for my Wear Everything challenge for 2026, which meant organizing my closet, if nothing else, just turning hangers, but also all my folded things I have organized in a specific way to know what has been worn and what hasn't. And during that, there were some pieces that I realized I don't like this piece. I have realized that perhaps during the year or during the challenge, but not yet set them aside. And I was like, I'm finally gonna do this. Since I am organizing anyway, I'm gonna set these pieces aside. And when I was doing that, I also went through the box of items that I'd set aside because they didn't quite fit or they didn't quite feel like me. And I decided to reintroduce, I think, 2 or 3 items back into my rotation. And then I went through and tried all the rest of it on. And I've kept 4 skirts that currently do not fit me. Everything else, which was a handful of pieces, I have decided to let go of. And the next time I go through that box, if those skirts still do not fit me, they will have to go. I might already decide to get rid of them now. I haven't quite decided. There are skirts I really like, but I also don't foresee myself fitting back into them. And I think they could make someone else really happy. So I'm really happy that I took the time to reorganize my wardrobe for 2026 for my Wear Everything challenge. But since I did it during the 75 hard style challenge, I guess I can count it as one of the goals being fulfilled. So what is my conclusion now then? After all that yapping, what is my conclusion for my thoughts about the 75 hard style challenge? I am glad that I did this. I feel like it was a good challenge. I feel like it was a good mental reset in regards to my approach to shopping and thrifting specifically, because that's mainly what I do. I think it was a really good reset and I'm glad I did it. I am proud of how many times I got dressed. There were definitely more lazy weekend days where I could have not gotten dressed and where I usually wouldn't have gotten dressed. So good job me for getting dressed, but also it's fine to just lounge around and be a burrito. I'm not faulting myself for doing that. Moving forward, I have already touched a little bit on wanting to thrift less this year, wanting to shop less this year generally, and I really hope to stick to that. I really want to stick to that. And it's January 3rd now, so it's still very early year as I'm filming this, but I don't feel the urge to go thrifting. I have made my thrifting wishlist video for this year. There are some things I want to get, but I'm not in a rush to get them. And even though it's been winter for a while, it hasn't really been winter until just a couple days ago. December was very, very mild for the most part, and now we've gotten snow and now we've gotten lower temperatures. So it almost feels like there's been a seasonal shift now, even though we're in January, and January tends to be colder here anyway. I know that, but I still think that winter starts in November. So it feels a little bit exciting to be getting dressed for colder weather, even though I don't love colder weather. But now is a great time to wear wool skirts, she says, wearing her very summery dungarees. But now it really is the time for turtlenecks and thicker skirts and cozy clothes like that, which is fun. I mean, getting to do that is really fun. I also think I'm more tempted to thrift when it's warmer weather out. The seasonal shift into spring summer is always like, the light is back and it's getting warmer, and it's like a rejuvenation of sorts, which is very nice. It gets very dark here in Sweden during the winter, especially when there's no snow, and now we have snow, which is very nice. But I think that is a thing, like the spring summer, it's warm again, it's sunshine again, there's actually daylight in the day again, is kind of nice. But also because I think summer pieces are more fun. They tend to be more colorful, they tend to be lighter, airier fabrics, which is good for that weather. I mean, I love that I'm wearing this right now because it's keeping me very nice and warm and toasty, but even so. But I have also said that I am going to do this challenge again. I have yet to decide when. I know it's going to be spring summer sometime, because I think it will be good to do it again with different clothes and different circumstances, different weather, different you know, excitements perhaps about the thrifting, but I haven't decided which months yet. I am excited to see how that goes, and also curious to see how that goes, to see if it's more difficult or less difficult or about the same. But I think that is where I'm going to wrap up this video for today and stop just talking about the same things over and over again. But thank you so much for watching. I would love to hear in the comments down below if you have ever participated in the 75 Hard Style Challenge, or if you would consider doing so in the future. I've had a good time. I've enjoyed this challenge. It's been less challenging than I thought it was going to be, and I'm excited to do it again come spring summer. Thank you so much for watching. I'll be back with another video soon, so I hope to see you then. Bye!